And are you people into DevOps completely, right?
Yeah.
Okay, what are the tools you have idea on? Like any
So
tools?
Jenkins, like CI/CD tools or something like that.
Yeah. Tell me your tool stack. Like what tools you
Uh,
people have idea on?
yeah, my tool stacks. I have knowledge on Jenkins, Ansible, Terraform, Docker, Kubernetes, and
Okay.
yeah,
Do you have any idea on Helm?
Helm. Yeah, Helm charts. I know that.
Okay, you have idea,
Always.
right? Like
Yeah,
if
yeah,
in case they are gonna question you about that, you'll be able to answer that, right?
yeah.
Because most of these organization who use Kubernetes workloads and stuff, they are at somewhere, some point they are using Helm.
What
Okay,
about
that
Argo
is
CD?
Argo CD, yes. So organizations use it, but in my organization we use a tool called Flux CD. I know that's outdated, but
Okay.
Argo CD is the best shot. Like if you say that you have a CD tool, you have experience working with CD tool, Argo CD, then that might be a good shot as well.
Mhm. Okay.
And do you have any experience with monitoring tools?
Prometheus, Grafana,
Splunk?
Elk stacks. Yeah, not
Okay.
Splunk that much. Yeah, but yeah.
Okay. You have experience working on it? Practical
Um,
experience?
yeah, I've worked on personal projects in Prometheus and Grafana.
Oh, then that's fine. Because if in case they are asking you to prepare a dashboard or something, you'll be able to answer that, right?
Okay.
Vani and
Yeah, Ranjan, sorry to, I have a question as well. So
the-
when it comes to Helm charts, are they asking us to develop a Helm chart or just use values.yaml files to deploy the Kubernetes, deploy the application into Kubernetes?
so values.yaml is just like a TF vars file, right, for Terraform. So what
Yeah,
they will
yeah.
ask you to do is just create a manifest which will have all these values, like how we define the values are going to be picked up from dot values dot this value, let's say example one, and then under that you have to pick up, right? So basically, first create a Kubernetes manifest, be it pod, be it service, be it config map, or anything, and just keep the values like two open curly braces, then dot capital values or something like that. Just create a manifest and show, because most of these technical rounds, right, I think they'll expect you to share the screen or write it in a blank white paper, unless or until they don't have really that much time.
So more like you're asking me us to develop a template and we can use
Yes,
values.yaml file. Okay.
yes.
Okay.
I don't think they'll expect you to do an advanced template with almost five things like pods, deployments, like deployments, config map, secrets, or something like that. Just create a deployment manifest if that is the case, and make sure you are aware of the API versions, like what's being used currently and stuffs like that. Okay. And
Okay.
they are most probably going to ask you tech details, like what is the latest Jenkins version or something like that. So keep an idea on that as well. Okay, because they asked me about Terraform in my the tech round. They were like, "What's the latest current Terraform version that's being used by the organizations like that?" So yeah, they are mostly not going to ask you any definitions or something like that. They are going to ask you your real time experience. They'll first ask you, "Have you worked with this, and how have you worked with it?" And if you have encountered any errors, how did you people solve it or something like that? Yeah, that's going to be the main focus of the interview. No definitions, nothing. Just focus on that. So when I was actually prepping for my interviews, right? So I took a course in NCPL Udemy. I remember. I think 20 real time projects. I think. Yeah, from Udemy. So I actually can take a look at it and share link for you people if you want, because that was, I think that was very essential, and it helped me a lot in understanding how to solve errors or something like that. Yep.
Yeah. So how does your day look like currently?
Okay, so my day, most probably it starts at 10:15. uh, I don't have any time to log in or something like that, and I don't have any time to log out as well. Okay, so if in case they need me, I'm gonna be there. So 10:15, my first scrum will be there. So it's a scrum with my team, like the DevOps team and the operations team. Whoever is in the DevOps team, they are going to be there. And you will talk about the thing you did yesterday, and you're going to talk about the thing you're going to do today. Okay. and followed by that you will be having two other scrums. So you will be having developers team, and you'll each I think one DevOps engineer at least in our organization. So we are 5 people will be assigned to 5 different teams. Okay, everyone will be having their own scrums. Your team lead will assist you with that. And in that call as well, if in case you worked with any developers or you helped them in any other cases, or you're still working with them, then you're going to post your updates over there. So that's how it starts. And you have your tasks assigned on Jira, right? You're gonna go work on it. Our sprints usually run for 2 weeks. So for the past 3 4 months, I've been assigned an Epic, and the last task which I was doing was migration. So we were actually migrating for a Burlington client into our shared services environment, completely Azure. Yeah, I'm pretty new to Azure, but yeah, I got a chance to learn as well. So that is how it looks. So you will start working on your tasks, and most of the organizations, they require you to log time, how much time you worked on this task or something like that. And I can actually tell you people how the tasks look, because mostly they are going to question you like that. So let's say you have a helm template, helm chart. Okay, so mostly you will be having a lot of helms like cron tab helm, and then a lot of helms like that.
Ranjan, I do have a question.
Yes.
So, like, you're migrating into the shared services, right? So,
Mhm.
when you're doing that, like, are you referring to any specific document outside of your company, or what
No.
strategy you follow to?
So we have our own products, right? So what happened? We were actually consolidating costs. So this migration, it saved us almost $18,000 in a year. So what we did, we had a separate AKS clusters for this separate client. We had a separate AKS cluster. So what we did, we created separate node groups. Like I can actually show this way. So all these four node poles we have, right? They were separate. They were separate clients. Okay, we used to have separate AKS clusters for them. So now what we did, we added a node selector in our Helm templates. So that means that if you deployed a pod for a specific client, it will go and deploy only on that node selector, only on that node group. Okay, so what we did, we isolated all their, like these people, whatever for this client, right? They cannot access or see others any pods or any network, because usually in Kubernetes by default, if you deploy something, right, it will have access to all the other pods in the pool. So we isolated the networking components as well. Then you people have any idea on ingresses,
Yes, I do.
Kubernetes ingress?
Yeah, yes. Kubernetes ingress, yes.
Okay, so yes, so this is how we consolidated. So most probably they are going to ask you if you were involved in any cost savings to your Azure resources, be it AWS resources or something like that. Then you can tell this, because most of the organizations, right, they have started using Kubernetes, and I think Kubernetes is going to be the next big thing in all the IT industry. So I would highly suggest you people to learn Kubernetes and Helm. So most probably the Flux or Go CD part and all will be taken care of your senior levels, like people who are in team lead positions or something like that. But if you are applying for jobs, senior level jobs, and I would highly recommend you people to learn that as well.
And do you also have to take care of the service mesh and any CNI plugins as well, or is
As
it?
so, no, not me. But if you are looking for senior level positions, then yes. See, basically, whatever is happening in that organization, right? The first thing that will the first person who will be called is the senior level or the TL. Okay, after the manager, yeah, obviously after the manager. So he'll be reaching out to you and he'll be asking you to suggest what to do with that, and you have to be the person who should be having a lot of ideas flowing in, and then tell them that okay, we can do this, we can do that, like that. Because there are two more seniors in my organization. First thing they'll do is they'll go to them, and then they'll bring it up in our ops chat. These are all our helm, and this is our cron job. So you usually have templates here. See, they might ask you to write this out, but you can easily select something like the smallest part. The smallest part should be yes, like this you can write. You understand this? This comes under NDA. So if you people can see this, right? The values dot queries to YAML indent 4. So this to YAML, right? Whatever is there in dot values dot queries, it's going to convert that whole code to YAML, and it's going to put it in queries dot YAML as a file. Okay. So values dot YAML. See, so this part is going to be put in a queries.yaml inside the pod that's going to come up through this deployment. So don't focus on these things, guys. Just focus on building something like this, like open double braces, then dot release dot name, and then open double braces dot values dot queries. This is how you reference values from the values.yaml. Just focus on these things. If you take a look in Google, you will have a lot of examples, a lot of examples. So this is
So Ranjan, you were telling something about the ingress, right? So basically, it provides like access within the cluster, external services within the cluster.
yes.
So yeah, what is? I mean, how are you using that ingress in your current project?
So okay. So basically, what we do is, if you use a service, then what does that service do? It will just give access to one resource, right? But ingresses are not like that. So what we can do is we can provide routes to this ingress. Let's say a web page is there, and there has a slash wp hyphen admin.php. So it has a route like this. Then you can provide all these route in the same ingress, and you can let it access that. So what do these people
Something
do?
like if you go to some website slash videos, and then it can access only the videos things. So
Yeah.
instead of accessing completely, it would give you specific things. That's it.
Yeah, so what you do is you take ingress and you provide path like slash videos, then it has to go here,
Yeah.
right? And then if you have photos as well, then provide a second path saying that slash photos, then it has to go here, like that. And you can provide a lot of different things for just one ingress. So it's like almost like a load balancer, right?
That's
So you can just provide it to a CDN endpoint or something, some endpoint or something like that. And then when the user gets to access it, and if he's trying to refer to new pages, you don't need a lot of services working on it. You just have to have one ingress working on it, and it will take care of everything.
So basically, we create a load balancer and then point it out to a subdomain by creating an A record, and through that, it will take the ingress resources and it will pass on the traffic.
Yes, correct. So in inside the cluster, how will you provide your service? Like how will you provide your pods to access out? You will have services like cluster IP, node port, or something like that, right? So we are not using this in any of our production nor staging. So we'll be using ingresses only. So if they ask you if you have any idea about node port or cluster IP, say yes, but we use ingress. You can actually find videos. The first best thing you people can do is practice it. Just try to deploy and practice it. If do you people have any certifications because they add a lot of value? Any certification?
Solution architect
Wow.
related AWS I have, but I am prepping for Terraform.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good one. Good one. Any other?
I have one question, Ranjan.
Yes, Vani. Go.
So, as you're doing the migration project right now, yeah, your application. So here it comes when they ask us, in your migration project, if you usually in our resumes, it states that 30% of cost saving, optimization
Yes.
regarding to on-premise to. So how do you answer that question? In one of the interview, they asked me, how can you say the percentage here? How can we really connect, to that 30% or whatever the percent that we write in our I mean, because you're in a project, how does the cost saving comes into the picture? Just want to know more
I
detail.
think that's just based on our calculations. Let's say
Mm.
you're spending 20,000 on a budget, like 20,000 on an application on an average for a year. Okay, $20,000. Okay, let's say now you are spending just $5,000 for the whole year. Then I think you just need to calculate how much the $5,000 is from the $20,000 and just put that percentage. I think that is how it works. So
Yeah, like adding to one more this point, like like when I was working for my account, like what we usually do is like we will give the data to the BA, business analyst.
mm,
Okay, so they will take the data with us, like what are the tickets you are getting it and how many hours we are working on it, and based on that they'll give a chart like how much we have made a progress on it. So in that way we can say like this much of percentage we have reduced by implementing this solution, like that we can say.
oh, nice. Because when I was having the last, see, usually you have a call when your migration is done, and you're gonna tell your manager, TL, and the associated internal stakeholders, like what did you do, how did it benefit us, like that. At that time, what I was telling was, we almost saved 18,000 a year, and we are just spending $200 a month. That means I think it will hardly cost somewhere around 2,400. Yeah, 200 a month is well into two. Yeah, 2,400. We are just spending 2,400. So I told them that it's almost a 16,000 savings to our pocket. Yeah, that is how I told internal stakeholders. But like how Prabhakar mentioned, so we don't have any business analytics. Sorry about that, because we are just a startup. And yeah, so if you people have any doubts regarding this percentages or how they calculate, how do you put it in your resume, feel free to reach Prabhakar.
Uh, Nothing, like I was just telling my like with my previous experience, like I was not into DevOps, but I was working for monitoring tools. So how we used to do is like the same way. Like we get the data, we get all the tickets, we get all the like implementation plan, whatever we did. So how much cost like we have saved, we used to get the details from the GA, from business analyst. They used to give us the report. So we
But
we used to project to the client like the same data.
yeah, but Prabhakar, that is the most important thing, So because they are actually going to ask if you have really any experience working in real time. So these kind of things, they make a lot of sense. They are very important to know. So I highly appreciate you talking about that right now. And just don't lie,
And
guys. If you don't know in interview and tech rounds and all, if you don't know, don't lie. Just say, I had a small task on top of this, but I don't have much knowledge. Or just don't say don't know, but you can paraphrase it to something in a positive way. Yeah, but just don't lie saying that I know this and that, because they are going to ask you a question on what you know only.
so Ranjan, I have a doubt. So you said like you have moved the cluster and used node groups to migrate to only one cluster, right? So what are all the prerequisites for that? Did you take any backups or what procedure did you follow?
So, see, most of if you are running any Kubernetes workloads, right? So mostly everything will be what to say stateless applications. So what we had was we just had one storage account and a database, right? So the storage account, what I did was I used az copy. There was a command. Uh, I created a new storage account, test account. Then I used az copy, and then I migrated whatever data was there from that storage account to this new storage account which I created. And that's the same for a MySQL DB as well. So what I did was I created a new DB in the shared services environment. And then what I did a MySQL dump from there. So the new storage account which was there, which was created, right, it had support for FTP. So what I directly did was I logged in through STP, and I put the MySQL dump from the old database to here. And the moment I got my new database, right, not database, server, sorry, server, yes, MySQL server, then I logged into it. and then I SFTP, and then I got it GET, then this name. How do you people have any idea on naming conventions? Naming convention.
Yeah,
We do, but
I
in
do.
regards to what context?
Like server
Yes,
or
so
application, whether it's a
we
database.
save our data. We save our data only in storage accounts and the MySQL server. So we don't have any other data stored. So the pods and stuffs, right? You can just copy the whole pod thing, the whole pods thing, and if you put it in the new cluster and you have the database credentials over there, right? It is going to access the new database. That's it. So you don't have to do a lot of migration at all. You can just stop the deployment that's running over there, copy the deployment manifest, and put it in the new cluster. It will run if you update the database credentials there.
So you're
Okay.
just transferring the data from on-prem to the Azure?
Not on-prem. So whatever we had was running in Azure. We just consolidated our costs. We just got it down so much that we did not let just 3 deployments to run in a whole cluster. We just got those 3 deployments to run in our shared services cluster, the one cluster which has almost all separate node groups for separate clients. That's it. First and all, we used to have separate AKS clusters for separate clients. Now we have separate node groups for separate clients. That's it.
Okay. So like were you using any other strategy? I mean, any other automation strategy like data factory or something like that on Azure?
No, that's the point, right? We did not have a lot of data to move around.
Okay. So it's just like a sample, like
Yeah,
very light. Okay.
it's just very like we run all our clusters like this. Whatever data we have, right, that is going to be stored only in MySQL DB and storage accounts. That's it. There's
And which
no,
company are you working with?
pardon.
Which company are you working with?
I work with identos like that. So we have a product that's not going to save any client's data. So what we are going to do is we are going to be the middleman, and here is hospital, right? There is hospital and there is user, and we are going to be the middleman. That's the app. So what we do, if this user is accessing his data, right, we are going to bring it for him.
Oh, like an API. I mean,
Yeah, API. Yes, that's the thing.
Okay.
That's the thing. Yeah, like literally an API. That's it.
Yeah, got it.
But we are running all these things in our cluster. That's it.
Okay, so you're just projecting all the information needed to the users or the patients from the hospitals, like a mediator.
Hospital servers to our app. Yeah, in a secured way. Yeah.
Okay.
That's the app. If you people ask me about the app, right, I myself don't know, because that's created by developers, and you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
You just need to worry about the cost and cloud side. That's it.
Yeah, thank you, Ranjan. It was very helpful.
Yeah. Any other questions, guys?
Hi Ranjan, I have a question. This is Mohan. Yeah, how the collaboration with the team, if you are working with the hospital and in internal team, how the collaboration about the day-to-day
Okay,
activities?
so what you have is you have people from the hospital, right? You have, let's say, 2 people from the hospital, okay, that organization, and you'll be having senior resources in your organization, let's say manager and team lead. So they are going to establish a connection and they are going to maintain it. That's it. So you don't need to email out to any of them. You just
Okay.
need to email out to your manager. If you want to ask anything, if you want to communicate with them, what you do is you draft an email and you send it to your manager. So what that manager is going to do is he's going to make sure this email is right. He's going to review it. He's going to make some changes and he's going to post it to them. So he will be adding you in either CC or BCC. That's it.
Okay.
That's it.
And
So
what is the role we have in the Azure portal?
what is we have administrator role, bro.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. That's the like we will not have all that.
So the moment you are added to your DevOps group, right? So the DevOps group, they are going to have admin access for sure.
Yeah.
They can do anything they want. And the only thing which you can't do in Azure is you can't access AD. That's it.
Yeah. That's the only thing, right? Yeah.
Active Directory, you cannot access Active Directory, but rest everything you can do. You can deploy how much ever you want. You can do whatever you want, but you can't just access AD.
Yeah. Got it.
Ranjan, one more thing. So we are using AKS cluster, but mostly we use Helm, right? But do we have to perform some creating roles, admin roles, cluster roles, kind of things, right? Like what are all the things you'll be doing, like not using Helm chart?
So there are pretty much no rules of these sort. Like at least in my organization, we don't use any RBAC roles. I know that there are roles and RBAC roles in Kubernetes, but we don't use it.
Okay, thank you.
So how do we connect to cluster? So basically, you will be provided with an access token that's going to be valid for some time, and then you are going there is a bastion server that always stands in front. If you are even if we are accessing our staging environment or production environment, we are going to have a bastion server that's going to be in the front. So you can't directly access our clusters from our CLI. So you're going to first access that VM, that bastion cluster, and from that VM you are going to access them, the clusters, and that too you must be provided access for those clusters, and that access is going to be taken care of your team lead. So if he thinks that
So more like a bastion host to
yes,
connect.
that's it.
Okay.
Just wanted to know, like, how are you going to monitor the cluster?
So yeah, so we have Splunk integrated into it, and we actually recently got a new tool as well, Better Stack, and a lot of organizations are not using it as of now. But yeah, that's a very cheap tool and it's a very efficient tool. So monitoring also takes care monitoring gets taken care by your team leads and senior levels, bro. So if you are looking for mid senior and like not junior, but yeah, mid senior and some beginner posts, yeah, you're
I
not
guess
going.
No, for to access the, like, this RBAC will come, I think so, into picture, like, when you want to monitor your cluster, I think, because there should be a rule. Without that, you cannot monitor it, right?
Yes, yes, that is correct.
Yeah. So I was like, like, when you said, like, you're not using any RBAC, like, in your organization, then I was
So what you do is you
thinking, like,
don't give RBAC roles to the people, right? We don't give that RBAC roles to the people.
correct,
We give it to
right,
service accounts. So
right,
what do we do is Splunk has an API integration with direct cluster. So what we do, I think there is a small deployment for Splunk. That deployment of agent, yes, we
right.
deploy that agent into our cluster, and it gets taken care of rest everything. So you just provide it with access for what it's going to do it, and then it collects the data and it sends it to our Splunk portal,
Right.
and then we open the dashboard and we take care of it.
I think we can
Fine.
even
Thank
use Azure monitor thing for that to monitor the clusters.
Yeah, you can do that, but the Splunk is actually doing very good in monitoring things. Yeah, Splunk and BetaStack, and yeah,
Okay.
that's how these third-party tools are coming up, right? Like we don't have something in a cloud providers monitoring solutions. That's why we are actually adopting for these things, right? That's a very good question, Lohita. You can actually research on it, saying why do we need to use third-party monitoring tools when we already have monitoring tools in Azure or AWS? That's a very good question.
Yeah, and you were talking about like cron jobs. So what are that exactly? Like I mean, there was this question asked in my interview as well, but I told I don't know that.
Okay, so what the first when I joined this organization, right? So I was working on a reporting tool. Python, it was built on top of Python. So what it is going to do is, it is going to create some reports in a CSV format, and it is going to send us. So I think there was a website that we were using to send that, and so what I did was I created a cron schedule. So each and every month, the first of every month, the first hour and the first day of every month. That means it's going to run on 0100 1 a.m. at the first of every month, and it's going to collect the whatever databases were added, whatever databases were modified. It is going to collect the names of that, and it is going to mail us. So these were the databases that were changed, and these were the new databases that were added to the server. So this is the smallest tool, not the smallest tool. It was a big task, but yeah, this is how cron jobs work.
Oh,
They
so it
need
basically
something.
gives you the info of whatever modifications have done in the last month.
Yeah, it
Or
is going to run that cron job, and it is going to provide you with the result. It is going to either provide you or either email out to you, or it's going to store somewhere. Yeah, it is going to run and it's going to get destroyed. That's it.
oh, okay.
When the run is successful, then it gets destroyed. If it has failed, then again it will start another new run. The next time, the next schedule.
Thanks, Ranjan.
No problem.
You work on, like, your environment is completely Kubernetes?
Yes, Kubernetes workloads, everything.
Okay.
And whatever infrastructure we need to deploy for Kubernetes, it's all maintained by Terraform. Everything is maintained by Terraform.
Okay. So do you guys update the Terraform code on regular basis?
Every often, yes.
So mostly you work on Terraform and Kubernetes.
Yeah, mostly Terraform, Kubernetes, Helm, everything.
Helm.
And if you're in a startup, right, that's an advantage. Like, you don't have a job description. You work from A to Z. That's it. If you wanted to be looped in for any developer, then you'll be established a connection with them, and they'll tell you what they require from your end, and then you will do it. So I was actually involved in building up an automation. So that's Jenkins, completely Jenkins. Then we don't. Yes, that's one more thing is also there. I forgot to tell you people. So we don't use Jenkins file for each and every code. So we don't build any Jenkins file for each and every build. So what we do is we build a Jenkins file and we keep it in a Jenkins library. So how these Terraform variables are there, right? You don't use it. You can just go to tf.tfvars, like variables.tfvars, and then you change the variables, right? Like that, we have nothing static is provided in that Jenkins file. Everything is dynamic, so it's going to pick up whatever they want, and we have put it in a library. So we are just going to refer that library. So I'll actually show you people how our Jenkins file look.
So you guys don't use the Azure repository? It's only Jenkins you guys use?
No, we use our Azure DevOps build as well, Azure runners. I can show you that as well. Take a look at this. Please research more about this. This is our Jenkins file. It looks like this. So we are calling Terraform from here. There is a Terraform Jenkins file. These are all our Jenkins file. So we write everything in a repo, and then we just refer it. We just call it. That's it. If I write Terraform, right, that is going to pull up from here only. Let's see, terraform.groovy. And yes, so here it is. So in Jenkins file also, we are using a runner that is going to be created by Kubernetes. So the moment this job gets done, right, this runner also gets deleted. So we have enough space for our agent. So yep. And this is the code. These are the steps.
And where are you storing this? It's on your repo or?
No, it's in another repo. So it's called Jenkins shared libraries. And then we can access it from here. This build pipelines. So what you do is you just refer your build pipelines here and the version of it. And then you just call your repo here. Then the ID for the repo, your ID will be provided here when you create the repo. Yep. So just try to find more information about the build pipelines, because they are going to ask this for sure. They're going to ask you to write a Jenkins file also, and they are going to ask you about build pipelines also. That's for sure.
Is it like the Groovy we need to learn now?
It's Groovy is not that hard. So you know to write a Jenkins file,
Yeah.
then that's fine. That's it. That is Groovy.
Ranjan, as you're in DevOps, right? So
Yeah.
how about the troubleshooting, like, like connecting with the developers, and then if they have any issues, how do you deal with it? Do you deal
So,
such things?
so first and foremost is you don't deal with troubleshooting an application. So if in case the application gets literally ready for production, ready for staging from developers, you will get that application in a like whatever format we usually use, Docker build or something like that. Then we create that as a pod. So if the pod is not getting connected to something, right? Let's say MySQL DB or let's say WordPress admin or anywhere, it's not connecting, right? So first thing you look on is logs. Why isn't it connecting? Then if you can't find more information, then you look for kubectl, then hyphen describe pod, and hyphen output, then YAML. Then you can actually describe the pod and see what's wrong with that. So that is how you troubleshoot. You don't troubleshoot an app. Like if that app or the functionality of the app is not working, you don't see that. But if it is not working on your cluster, like it is not getting connected to your database or your storage account, then you take care of that.
Okay. So in one of my interviews, they asked me, because you're into the DevOps role, you're going to connect with the developers. They will come up with their issues, and how do you deal with the 503 error? How do you deal with the they have given me such kind of questions, and they asked me, how do you troubleshoot in such cases? Do you
Yeah, you
have
can
those?
actually take a look around these errors. Yeah, that's the error thing which you mentioned. That is also an important part. But if you get 403, then you don't have access to it. If you get
Yeah.
status 200, then it is okay. Then 503, these kind of errors, right? But you can tell them out that if there is there is any issue with the application, right? The developers are going to take care of it. But once we deploy it, and if there is any issue with the application not being able to connect to anything, right? That's where you come into the play.
Mm.
So you can actually paraphrase it into a better thing and you can tell it. Yeah. I'm just giving it to you in a very casual way. But yeah,
Mm. But usually you don't do that, right? I mean,
whatever the application they are going to create, whatever the code they are going to write, right? We are not going to touch it. We are not going to touch it
mm.
until
Okay.
or unless it is getting deployed in our cluster and it is not being able to do what it has to.
Like,
Yes.
yeah, yeah, understood. What about the Linux part?
Linux, you need to learn everything. Linux, you need to learn. Yes.
You work a lot on
Yes,
Linux?
you work a lot on Linux because if you are a DevOps engineer, right? I've never seen any DevOps engineer working with Windows.
Yeah,
They are
yeah.
going to provide you with a Mac for sure, and Mac
Mm.
is very similar to Linux. Yeah, you need to know Linux for sure. Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
not advanced, but yeah, you just need to see. Googling is the best thing. Everyone does Googling. Okay, be it your manager, be it your team lead, everyone is going to do Googling. So you need to know how to search. That's it. Don't do this in interviews and all. Huh? I'm not responsible.
No, no.
One question, Ranjan, from me, Alvi, here.
Yes,
So
please.
how big is your cluster actually? How many worker nodes do you have like, and how many clusters you have?
Uh, so we have a lot of clusters, but we are actually consolidating it to just staging one cluster and production one cluster. That's a shared services environment. As long as the client is okay with that. If the client is not okay, if they say that we want separate cluster, then we will give them a different budget. Okay. And then we run our workloads we made in that separate cluster. As long as the client is okay with it, then yes.
How many worker nodes do you have in a
So
cluster?
it depends. So let's say for a client, we have almost 2 nodes, and if it is not enough, it is going to auto scale up to 5 for a client. So we have almost 4 tenants now. We have migrated from the past 2 months, 4 tenants into our service, the shared services cluster. So they all have 2 nodes that can be like auto upgraded, auto scaled to 5. Yes. So you can just say 8 nodes per cluster as of now. Yes.
Okay. And usually how many pods you guys will run in a node?
So we usually have 3 pods, whatever will have 3 pods. whatever the environment we are giving is 3 pods, because our whole application is going to run in 3 pods. And then we have our cron job pod, and then the agent which we have for the Splunk thing, right? Yeah, we integrated that as well, then for better stack as well. So yes, mostly you will have 5 pods and a lot of config maps and a lot of secrets. Yes,
Okay.
each and every connection string also, right? The connection string also will be in secrets only. You won't define it anywhere except the secrets. And the secrets you people are going to be defining is, for security reasons, you are going to define it manually. So yep.
Okay.
Because if you are going to use a CD pipeline for it, right, then you have to commit that secret in a repository.
So do you use Docker repository to store your secrets, or
Nope. We have ACR. Azure
yes,
Container.
okay, yeah, container registry, yeah.
Yep. Everything is private. Everything is private. We can't access anything out of it unless or until we are in the network. So yep.
Yeah, it's good to save everything on some Azure itself, not going out of the Azure.
Yeah.
Storing
Mostly, if Azure can't do something, then you can look for a third-party app. Yep.
But you said you guys are using for the pipelines. You using Jenkins, or where do you build the pipelines?
So whatever Terraform thing, right? It will be built by Jenkins, and we are using Azure DevOps as well. So there we'll be defining pipelines.yaml. I did not work on top of that, but I know how it's working. Yeah, that's it. I did not edit or I did not modify anything to that. So it was built a long back. So whatever code we commit, right, it is going to take the branch where we committed, and it is going to put. Yes. Do you people know any about a good question, Alvi? Do you people know anything about the naming convention of branches?
I mean,
Anyone?
we know like the main branch and feature branches. Feature branches, like based on what feature they're working, they name it.
How do you name a feature branch?
Like say just for they're working on a login feature, maybe they might be naming like a login. Everyone will be working on their local with the login branch. Then eventually they will put everything into a feature branch. Probably no idea, but yeah, you.
Generally, we have different strategy of this branching.
Yes,
Just
branching strategy.
trunk
You have a lot
base.
of different strategies.
Yeah, trunk base, or else like feature branch, or else like, yeah, this is the, I mean, the basic questions they're gonna ask like when we are going with DevOps interview.
Yes, for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
So for a neater side, what we do is, if we are working on a feature, right? So we create a branch named feature/login or feature/AD integration. Okay. So if you take a look at the branches, it will create a feature folder, and under that you will be having like login, AD integration or something like that. And if you are doing any fix, at any
Hard
fix for
fix,
something,
yeah, hard fix branch.
fix slash, then you will write the fix name or something like that.
Or the bug fixes. Yeah, directly Jira number they will attach, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Jira number and all. Yeah, the task number is important. Yep.
Yeah.
So Ranjan, what do you suggest as like before? What are the things that you thought, "Arey, I would have learned this one before getting into this kind of thing"? What made you
That was a
uncomfortable
lot.
after
That
getting
was
into?
a lot.
Everything you learn after joining, I guess.
No.
Yeah, but there are
I
a few
had a
things
pretty
like,
much good knowledge before joining as well.
Yeah.
So I
okay.
used to work. I used to invest a lot of time learning these things, because I was very much serious about taking a job in the next 4 or 5
Yeah.
months. Very much serious.
So what are the things that you have lacked?
So what I was feeling I could have learned better was Helm,
Okay.
Flux. I thought maybe if I had known how these things are going to work, it would have benefited me, saved me a lot of time. That's it. So nothing else.
Helmet? What is?
Helm and the Flux CD, which our organization is using.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Argo CD is, I think Argo CD is doing very good. So you people can take a look at Argo CD. Yes, for sure. That's for sure.
What it is actually?
Argo CD. So what it is going to do is, so let's say you are having a main branch, right? That main branch will be referred. So in Flux, it's going to have Git repository, something like that. And the Flux will be running in your cluster with the namespace Flux system. So whatever is going to get committed to the main branch, right? It is going to keep on looking at the main branch for any changes. If it sees any changes, that Flux agent is going to pull that changes and deploy it into your cluster without your intervention. So it just needs to see whatever you are going to work, right? You're going to work on the feature branch, and then you're going to merge that branch to the main, right? And the moment Flux picks up any changes to the main branch, it is going to take that and deploy it into the cluster. So you don't have to worry about anything. So that is how these CDs thing work. Argo CD, Flux, they do that.
So Ranjan, as you said that you worked on 20 projects in
Almost a lot.
Demi.
There is,
How,
I don't remember.
how,
So you keep on working. You just will be given a lot of work. You will keep on working if it is startup.
so they helped you a lot in that?
No, you can't help. You can't expect any help in
Yeah.
startups, at least. That's the bitter truth. You have to learn everything by yourself.
No, I'm saying, I'm asking like the 20 projects, whatever the projects that you have done.
They'll, if you are stuck,
Are you able
somewhere,
to?
they might help you out. But see, you yourself will feel like, okay, why do I need to ask them for help every time? Then what will they think like that? And you will start learning yourself. You will start learning how to search things better. That is it.
Yeah, Ranjan. So just out of curiosity, I just have a question. So how does your day-to-day work life is like? Like what kind of work, like what kind of task have you done so far?
I actually told that in the front, right? So that's what I don't have to log in at 9, and I
Okay.
don't have to log in at 5. I can log in whenever I want. I can log out whenever I want.
Yeah.
Okay, but the work needs to be done for the day.
No, like what kind of task have you been given? So just curious to know.
So you
about.
will be given with migration projects. So if in case you want to migrate any pods,
Okay.
any infrastructure you want to migrate, you will be migrating that. Then you have any Terraform modules, prepare a Terraform module or update a Terraform module to support this feature. Let's say the last task which I was working on was I was updating our PostgreSQL server module and flexible PostgreSQL flexible server module and MySQL flexible server module to enable and support AD integration. So what it does is you can actually provide a group there, and it is going to provide access to the people who are under that group. That's it. You just don't need to put the user name password every time you log into that MySQL server. If you have access to it, you have a command, you can paste, you can find that in Microsoft documentation. So you don't even need to put your password. You have an access token generated for you. So it will log you in on its own if you have access, if you are inside that group.
Okay.
Tasks like this will be given. Then they will ask you to update or set up a new Helm repository for this, or they might ask you to see one more thing. See, if the Jenkins build pipelines, right? I told you people, right? They have a version on it. If in case they release a new version out, right? You have to go to all the repositories and update a version there. Let's say v3.26, then it is updated for the 3.26.1. Then you have to go to all the repository and update that version. You can get tasks like this. And yeah, I was actually working on infrastructure diagrams as well. So you are going to take a look into Azure, your subscription, and you are going to create a diagram for whatever resource groups are there, whatever things are there inside that resource groups. Let's say event logs, AKS clusters, managed identity, anything, you just create a diagram out of it. Yeah.
Like a complete architecture diagram.
Complete architecture diagram. And you also maintain documents. So as a day-to-day basis, you also maintain documents of your architecture, infrastructure, architecture, whatever new updates you make, right? The moment you make them, you're going to go and update the respective documentations. That's it. You will be troubleshooting a lot in the clusters. You will be troubleshooting a lot. Everyone is going to keep on messaging you, your group, saying, I'm not able to access this, I'm not able to access that. This is not doing this, this is not doing that.
So since it's a startup, you have to like handle everything on your own, I believe.
If it is a well-established company and you're in the senior level, right, you will be
Yeah.
handling way more than that, way more than that. I found actually this easy because you're just maintaining, I think, 20 clusters. But if you are in a big organization, you will be maintaining, I think, 100, 150, who knows.
Okay, got it.
How big is your team?
My team is just consists of just 3 of us in DevOps and 2 managers. That's it.
All three DevOps
All 3
engineers?
DevOps. I am the only youngest hire. Yeah.
Okay. And do you have an architect or somebody like system engineer or
So
something?
everyone does everything there. Everyone does everything there in our organization. Everyone does everything. We take care of security ourselves. We take care of everything ourselves. Very less people, right?
Do you have like, do you guys follow agile methodology, something like Scrum calls, something?
Yeah, everything we follow. Everything we follow. We almost have almost 5 meetings a day to take care of everything. Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So how long you been with this company? What's your
Almost 9 months. 9 months.
what's the company name? Sorry.
Identos.
Identos. Okay.
Identos. Anything else?
Hey, hi Ranjan. I just wanted to know, like, do you guys use anything in specific to maintain the security, or do you have any idea like what protocols or anything you use?
No, I do not have any idea about that. But so my team lead, he takes care of DevSecOps side completely,
Okay. So
and
there's
there is
another team for that?
we just hired a person, and I myself shocked that they hired a security infosec analyst. I think security analyst or something like that. They hired just one person. He's the first security analyst in our organization. Yes,
Oh,
he's going through all the policy. He's going through all the documentations now. So I think most probably next 3-4 months he'll give us a review. Yep, I am not really sure about the security side. Yes.
got it. Okay.
Anything else?
Yeah, Ranjan, did you
Hello.
face any problems in migration?
So, bro, a lot of problems, bro.
Yeah.
You get a lot of problems. First of all, in migration, it's not that easy, right? Sometimes it won't get connected to a database because in our DBs, right, we can't access our DBs also straight in DB server, the MySQL server and all. You have a private link for that, and then you have to use that private link for as a host, and then you connect to that. Sometimes you won't be able to connect to it. Then a lot of problems will come up. A lot of problems will come up. You just need to just figure it out and go.
Yeah, understood. And regarding Terraform, how often do you change the desired state or any infrastructure changes, and how you store these files, state files, and
So our state files, they are stored in a centralized storage account. So we do not have access to even view that. The only thing that has access is the Terraform itself. Only it can, even if my team lead thinks, right, he wants to see it, he has to go into that access and security. He has to put his IP there, and only then he can see it. So it's just that service account that's take care of that. And you asked about the Terraform changes, right?
yeah,
Often state changes whenever you push a code to the main, right? Your Terraform state file is going to change. Be it, see, if I am working on a task, if I'm working on a feature, so what I will do is I will create the feature. Before me, there is another teammate. If he commits his code, if he merges his pull request, right? So that pull request, I have to pull it back to my branch. I have to merge the main to my branch and then again pull it. So at that time, when he pushed it to the main, at that time also the state file changes. And when I do the pull request, when I complete the pull request, at that time also the state file changes. So every often you'll change your state file. Anything you change to the main branch, you will have your state files changed.
yeah.
You will set up pipelines according to that. So when once you merge to the main, that pipeline will start running because it picked up the commit to that main.
Yeah, and how you manage the triggers for this? Manually or automatic?
No, that's the pipelines are there, right? The Azure DevOps pipelines are there, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we have provided a parameter. I think the parameter for branch main, whatever changes happen to main branch, you run a pipeline. You run a pipeline with the latest commit name. That's it.
So it happens. The triggers happens automatically, right?
Yes,
Okay.
it happens automatically the moment you get something to main branch.
Sure, sure. Yeah. Thanks.
So
Thanks, Ranjan.
the owner or the contributor won't have access to the storage accounts?
You won't be having storage account access. It's completely private. If you want to take a look at that storage account also, you will still need to put your IP and then take a look at it.
Okay, I think the access must be assigned under your name.
Yeah, and they say that don't access Terraform state files at all. I don't have access. I shouldn't access also. Not even my team did. He himself shouldn't access.
Because I have read somewhere that owners who are assigned with an owner role might have access towards all the resources in the Azure. Um,
All the
maybe
resources in the Azure. See, if I am also given an administrator role, right? That means I also can go and access that storage account. But I am not able to access the storage account because they have specified something somewhere.
okay.
That's it. And accessing storage accounts whenever you want is not a good thing. It's not a right security protocol because your state file is very important. If
Yeah,
something happens to the state file, right? If it gets corrupted, then you can't get the whole environment back. You know how much what a tedious task it is to just import existing infrastructure to Terraform. It's not easy at all.
I
It's
know
so
there
much
is
of work.
in code we need like a resource ID and everything, like a Terraform import. There is like a command, I don't remember
Yes, Terraform
exactly.
import. But the
Import.
point is, see, there is complications with that as well. See, if you are writing a Terraform code, you use variables, vars, right?
Yeah,
But to do import, you explicitly provide the resource IDs and stuff.
exactly. So we
And
need to
that's
use
not a
this.
good security protocol at all. So you have to find some other way to import it. Because see, when you are a DevOps engineer, you play around a lot with everything. You play around with everything, almost everything, be it MySQL databases. If you're writing a Terraform module, right, you will deploy everything required for that module, be it resource group, be it private link, be it anything, you deploy it and you play around, just play around.
What strategy are you guys using in migration? Like there are different
Refactoring,
strategies, right? Yeah.
refactoring the code or else refactoring the it all strategies comes under like when we're actually migrating from on-prem to cloud. I mean these people are
Okay.
doing like cloud to cloud, right? So we don't have any
Hmm.
strategies in
Yeah,
that.
we don't have any
Okay. Because
strategies.
these
We just
people
need a
they ask.
priorities. We
Yeah.
we prerequisites, priorities, what to be done first, and why it needs
Okay.
to be done first. If it needs to be done first, then this will benefit like this, or if
Hmm.
it won't work if it is done later like that. Yeah, you will be having priorities and prerequisites. That's it. I don't think there is any strategy we follow. Yep. You'll be
Okay.
handed over with an epic link. Your team leads or manager will create that, and that epic link will have almost 10-15 tickets. Maybe if it is a very big thing, if it is a very big task.
Hmm.
If it is a small migration, you might have 2-3 tickets. That's it. Just take care
Okay.
of that tickets, and rest everything will be done. You will be having a documentation, so they will prepare a documentation for you to read it, and yeah.
Okay, Ranjan.
Chandra, you were asking something, right?
Yeah, I just wanted to know, like, if there is an issue which comes up in a production, if you like after migration or something, like, is there a
Hmm.
priority time which you need to fix it in? Like, depending on the application, you can take your time. How
See,
does it?
so the production, right? It is actually on call support for the senior people. Whatever
Okay.
problem comes, if it does not affect the application, if it does not affect the users, right, then they
Mhm.
might give a little bit extra time. And if it is affecting them, even if it is night 12 a.m. or even if it is 1 a.m., right, you are going to get calls. So you will be having your monitoring tools. So they will be integrated with a call. You will be providing your numbers there. If something happens to the production environment, you will get a call, and at
Okay.
that time you will support it. And you don't make production changes on Friday, guys. This might be a very basic thing, but they might suddenly ask you, do you make production changes on Friday? Nope, you don't.
It's done on weekends?
No, it's not. It's
The
not
servers
at all.
will be down on the weekends, during the weekends?
No, so what? So weekends, right? Everyone needs weekends. So what they do is they don't prefer any production changes on Fridays. Not at all. So Monday to Thursday they will do a lot of production changes and stuff, but not on Fridays. Nope. Because after Friday, Saturday, Sunday is there. Everyone wants vacation. Everyone wants weekends. Everyone wants to roam.
Okay, got it.
Anything else, guys?
That's everything, Ranjan. It was a long time. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rohita. Anyone has any questions, guys?
Thanks, Ranjan. No,
Okay,
many things.
my pleasure.
Ranjan, can we reach out in future if you have any concerns or
Yeah, you
questions?
can reach out, bro. You can reach out for sure.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for that.